Yes, welcome to this beautiful chat. It's always a pleasure. It's always a blessing. It's to grow together. The questions that you ask, the feedback that you send, we actually get it. And that is why we actually have these episodes, to be able to talk about some of those issues, highlight on them. Actually, what we do here is talk about the real issues that you send to us and be able to come up with ways how we can navigate different situations. And I know that you appreciate because we get to hear from you. So welcome, welcome. The Sabitis are here.
It's a beautiful day. I really appreciate being on the set with you. As usual, you look good.
Thank you. I'm always waiting for that. The day you don't say it, I'll demand for it. Yeah, so
So do I look bad?
No, you look amazing. Oh, amazing is an understatement. But I usually tell you these things, but let me tell them to you again. You're the most handsome. Abalala simanyi byabwe biri waabwe.
Baleke beesonyiwe.
But ewange, you're the most handsome, the most intelligent. As in, I don't know how to categorize you. And you are uncategorizable.
Okay.
Yeah, but I appreciate the man that God blessed me with.
Thank you.
A pillar that God blessed me with. That one is something, by the way, I thank God for every day. On a serious note, not on a joking note. I thank God for every day. Your level of intelligence, your level of creativity, your level of leadership that is Christ-like and Christ-centered, like so forgiving, so appreciating, and so tolerating. Sometimes it's beyond. It's beyond. Sometimes I look at you and I'm like, you know what? I don't think he's human. Let me look the other side, because me, I am too human in some of the things that I do.
You know, some of these words, the kind of words you are saying, few people never have an opportunity to hear them.
Yeah.
Usually it's somewhere where they're putting you under the ground that some people now remember to appreciate. I was at a certain church, I'd been called to do ministry, and you know, the church came out to appreciate their pastor.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was
I
really
remember.
emotional
Yeah,
and touching.
They sang for him a song.
They composed a song, sang for him a song, and told him, we don't want to wait until you know more for us to thank you.
Yeah.
We are what we are because you've had this input.
Yeah.
You've made this contribution. You've made us.
Appreciation is something that is really, really great, and we don't need to be even reminded to appreciate. And we appreciate in so many ways. I think the reason as to why I'm so glad we have started on this note, because again, part of what we are going to handle is there's so many people that are feeling unappreciated. And sometimes we don't know how deep it runs, or how bad someone feels when you don't appreciate them, or if you act in a way that shows that I am unappreciative. And so many times we do it without knowing, but so many times people do it knowingly because they actually don't appreciate.
And when it comes to us men, we're always at the forefront. You're trying to push, you're trying to push for your family, you're trying to win for your family.
Yeah.
It's just like everything about you is actually, I think it was here where we're having a discussion and said men tend to forget even to do health checks.
Yeah.
Not because they don't want, but it's just like they don't never prioritize their life. Everything about them is their family. They're thinking about school fees.
It's one thing after another.
Yes, school fees, rent, all these lined up and waiting. And so at times, like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Even when it's not fine. You can walk and limp for a long time as a man without anyone knowing.
Yeah.
Or because you feel like I'm the last man in this line.
Yeah.
So if I show weakness, the whole family is down.
I should be standing.
So in most cases, you can have an infection. You can have think about anything, to do with your health, and you still run around with it. You run around with it thinking, if I put my guns down, if I stop fighting, what happens next? What happens the next day? Probably they will be throwing us out of the house. We will not have anything to eat. So you find yourself at the forefront,
all the time,
trying to fight for your family daily. Now, This means a lot when someone is able to pull out a moment like this and just say thank you.
Yeah.
And just say thank you. Some men have not seen that. And I know as I'm speaking and you are watching, you're like, you're talking to me. I've not had a thank you. Not from their wives.
Yeah.
Not from their wife or children. Have not.
Not from everyone that they take care of, because sometimes it's not just even the wife and the children.
Yeah. What you've received as a thank you is an accusation for what you've not done right.
I know. That's what they pick out. And I want to be able to put you on a hot seat for this one, because then I would love to know. I know that I'm not 100%. I have my faults or my flaws as a person, but in what ways do you think you have received appreciation from me, and you have recognized that she appreciates?
Number one, the extra mile that you go without me asking. It's a message that I've seen everything that you're doing, and I'm here to support you in what you're doing. Because
you see that?
Yes. You know what happens in a partnership, in a relationship. We've talked about reciprocating, blah, 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 blah. And it's not just a word. It is just a word if there are no actions to back it up. When someone can go out of their way to do something for you, it simply means, I appreciate. It simply means, everything that you've done for me, I've summed it up in one action, and this is it. Like, there's some few very unique moments where my wife here has gone and just like, she buys like about my undergarments, all of them, like about 20, 30 pairs, and the socks, you know, and thinks of a unique t-shirt or unique shirt. She knows my colors and she knows the things that I like, and she brings them. Now, the days that you have done that, I may not scream and somersault and dance, but in my heart I'm like, ooh. She knows I don't have the time to do this, and she's thought about it and she's done it. Think about some of those moments where you've come to me and you have said, can we just have a moment together? And let's go out. Let's go away. Let's get away. It's an appreciation. It is a signal. It is a language. Okay? And it's now the action bit of it
that says a lot.
That is saying everything else that probably would never be enough with just the words. Because it's easy to say thank you.
Yeah.
It's another thing to back it up with some action. So all that to me is a thank you. Okay? I mean, I never go back home and I lack what to eat. Okay? When I'm home, I can't be in that place of as in, will I have a dinner or not? Tell you what, I interact with men. I love these conversations with men. Someone will tell you, I don't remember the last time I had a proper meal at home.
Okay.
And how these conversations come about, it's like where we meet, you find the guy eating, and you're like,
aren't you going home?
Talking in the car.
It's time to
and
go.
It's like, yeah, I'm going home, but man, I need to pack. I need to properly, you know. Like, but why? You're married. I know you're married. You're married the last 10 years. Like, man, I don't remember the last time I had a proper meal at home.
Wow.
Usually when I get home, everyone is
minding
busy
their
with,
business.
Yes, so... and I don't want to beg in my own house. If I've provided for the home, I would expect that someone should take care of me.
Yeah.
But if no one does, then I should try to take care of me.
Wow,
and
that's a
so
hard
it's like, one of them mentions, like, I think now they think I'm no longer interested in eating at home.
Oh, okay. So now they got used to it.
They got used to it. And some of them
So
have
they
been,
no longer ask,
some of them
they
have
no
been doing that for the last 5 years, 6 years.
That's a long time.
Yes, where they eat everywhere else apart from home.
Wow. All right.
So have I answered your question?
I know you have. I put you on a hot seat there.
What more does a
But
man need
I know there are not so many things.
than that little attention? Someone to give you that attention and be able to take care of. They look like the small things, but they speak volumes. They really speak volumes. I can assure you, there are some men, their hand is zibamune. Not because they don't have the money. But every time he goes out to buy, he buys everything for everyone else apart from himself.
Yeah. So someone should be able
so
to
everyone
think
else
about
is a
him.
priority apart from themselves. And every time they think about prioritizing themselves, they feel like they are selfish. Just like I talked about the health bit, it's the same thing even with undergarments.
Someone should be there to remind you that, you know what, you matter, go ahead and actually do these things. And on the other side, as women, or some of the things that I would think that you do in a way of appreciating me, because before we even read one of the question that a viewer sent in, is you being able to consult with me on everything that you're doing.
Yep.
Not just consult with me, but not just inform that, hey, I am doing this, but even ask for input, even ask for my point of view, and even for the things that I don't know, like you are good with civil engineering, that all the real estate, all the projects that we are doing, you're able to map them out and be creative, but you are so concerned about what kind of house, what kind of project, come and look at it, tell me, is this something good, can we break something? As in, that shows me that you appreciate my intelligence and my contribution, and that is not something that I actually take for granted. And even when you say it, because you've said it so many times, when you're like, you know what, if it were up to me, I wouldn't know how the children are faring in some aspects of their lives.
Yep.
I would play with them, but again, you know the details. You know who has a stomachache, you know who didn't sleep well, you know who didn't eat well, you know, are their fingernails cut, do they have prepared uniforms, what do they like to eat, you know. So when you take that extra mile to just thank me, and you're like, wow, thank you, because I don't think with my level of stress and the things that I'm doing, I would have been able to take care of that. That shows me, that goes ahead to show me that, okay, wow, he really appreciates
you
when you say it straight away. So there are so many things, even just considering that you go out of you've talked about the buying, but so many times you fly out of the country, come back without buying anything for yourself, but all the suitcases are filled with my clothes and children's clothes, and children's clothes even to 5 years ahead. And I'm thinking, you could have bought something for yourself, and you're thinking, the whole journey I was just thinking about my family. So that shows, as in, what more appreciation can someone get? And I think appreciation builds the intimacy. It lets someone know that I am thought about and I am cared for, and I can relax knowing that I am safe. It provides security for someone. I don't know about others, but I just wanted us to just provide that ground of what does appreciation do before we even go into the signs that someone feels unappreciated, because there are so many signs that someone actually feels unappreciated. And then there's this particular lady that sent in a question, and I will read it as it is. She says that, hi, praise God, I have been with my husband for many years. He is a pastor, but he is a person who doesn't appreciate me in anything. He is ever asking me to leave his home. When I sit near him as my husband, he doesn't want it. We are never happy with each other. I am always crying. I have even reached to an extent of saying, let me stop going to his church. Help me. I saw you on Spirit TV, and it's a situation I'm going through. I am desperate.
Wow.
That's what she says.
Very painful.
Very, very painful.
You can tell.
You can tell that
Feel
this
the
has
pain
happened for a long time. And sometimes when people see an appreciation, they always think, am I the one with the problem? They always seek to rectify something, and until they recognize that it's coming from the other side, and it's not something that is changing after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it's the same. Someone is still saying, leave my home. That means it's not just an appreciation, but when you love someone, just like we say, there is no giving, we give out of love. That when you love someone, the action is give. That for God so loved the world that he gave. So many times that when we love someone, we give. And so when someone is loved without an appreciation equals to lack of love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will try to dig this a bit deeper because I don't think it's the first time I've had something like that, though this gets me a bit emotional.
Especially with the pastors.
Trying to, yes, because I think most pastors in their days of struggling, when you are led to marry because
of a situation,
because you're under pressure, or because there's this particular Christian, this woman in this
committed
church who cares for you, who helps you with the ministry, and she's providing or supporting the ministry, and she helps you out on so many things, and you're like, I'm still struggling, I'm not well financially, and I need her as a pillar. So you took her in your house because she was giving you some money. And there are so many pastors who did that in their early days. In those early days, they found themselves marrying for the wrong reasons. And right now,
they didn't envision how far they would go.
Right now, they have the money and they're bored. They feel like everything else out there glitters.
There are so many other glittering sisters.
Yes, apart from in my house, the woman I'm with in my house. And many have ended up, in extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
And some have ended up divorced,
and remarrying.
And so on and so on
many,
and so forth. So the drama there is a lot. And this specifically goes out to you that, marriage is not for trying out.
Yeah.
It is not a place where we want to see whether it will work or not. Speaking from experience, trust me, if you are marrying that girl because of everything else about her,
for convenience,
you understand? Then when it is cut off, when she falls short, when she no longer has that good job, when she no longer has that car, when she can no longer give you the things she's giving you, you will be on your way out because you married her for the wrong reasons. And in this day and age, girls have mastered the art. They have worked. They have pushed themselves. They have tried so hard to get themselves to that place. And guess what? Most of our young men are falling for everything else other than the truth and the real thing called bufumbo marriage. Because I believe that it is your duty to connect more with her soul than
with the external things.
Because what happens when you connect with someone's soul, you fall in love with them for who they are.
Nothing else.
And that is a secret to growing old together. You fall in love with her for who she is. As an strip her naked without anything, you still love the same woman. You would still run
without her job, without her money, without her connections,
just like I said,
without her family.
Once you connect with her soul,
without even the gift of praise and worship, the nice voice, without everything else.
Exactly. And that is the secret to growing all together. Otherwise, everything else, including her beauty,
it can
at
vanish.
a certain point vanishes, whether you like it or not. I usually use the word, it's always greener the other side. But when you've connected with someone's soul, it is greener, yes. You understand? But because you connected with this soul, you'll always respect that soul. You will never, ever attempt to hurt that soul. You will always protect that soul.
You'll be loyal.
You will always be loyal to that soul. You will always value everything that cannot be seen with a naked eye.
And that is the soul connection. That is a deeper connection.
Yep.
That is where
so that's
says
beyond just love.
Okay.
Butterflies. It's beyond all that.
Yeah. It is a commitment.
It is a commitment. Yeah.
Wow. So you see, when you talk about you said you're going to dig deeper. I didn't know how deeper you were going, but this has really gone deeper, because then it takes us back to the genesis of the relationship. That what we are treating right now are symptoms. But those symptoms come from a deeper seated issue, the decisions that were made. And one of the things that I know when I speak on the other side of the women, most of the women that are being chosen for external issues always know that I'm being chosen for external issues, not because of a soul connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
But most of the times, even when it comes to pastors, there are like 5 of them and the pastor is choosing which one to take. Who has more money and has a gift in church, and because they're always looking for, if everyone else goes, at least there is always, at least my wife will be my first sheep. So they always look at, it's always a game of Zala, who do I take and who do
Absolutely.
I not? So most of
Absolutely.
the women are always competing on external values.
Yep.
Otherwise, those that don't want to compete on external values, they step aside.
Exactly.
And most of the times they're underlooked.
Exactly.
But guess what? On finding out, that same girl is going to get married and be happy in her marriage, and that same pastor will be the one regretting and saying, and sometimes they're the ones that they really loved.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So now they go away still looking behind, but again enjoying the luxuries that they signed up for. And all of a sudden the other one is married and they have children. They are long gone, and now their hearts are in space, because you can never love money and expect to build a marriage.
Impossible. As a young man in church, I got lots of, you're struggling, and lunch is a miracle. After Sunday service, you hang around
to see where you can get lunch
exactly
from.
Because there is nothing. You're fresh from university, or you're still at university, and you're jobless. Of course, you're jobless. Rarely do you find university students that have jobs.
Yeah.
So I remember all those struggles, and I remember the kind of favors that were coming from the wrong people. You understand?
Yep.
And how I distanced myself, or how I kept running away from some of those favors. Do you know what it means on Christmas Day? My mother is all the way in Chibok. I don't even have transport to go there. Of course, she would have loved to hang out with me, be with me, on Christmas Day. But it's Christmas. You
No
understand?
transport.
No transport.
No money, no food.
And so you have to be at church and do ministry. You do ministry perfectly, and
you look around.
And there are some invitations, but the kind of invitations you are getting, they are coming with a catch of some sort.
It's a bait.
And you're like, much as I want the food, I'm not going there.
I'm not biting. I'm not taking the bait.
The bit here is, you value your future, you value what you want to become more than what's present. And that's how you can tell someone, someone who has ambition, who has a vision, who has desires in life. You understand? That's the point at which you can tell, because all these favors are being extended to you
for certain reasons.
And
that
you
know.
And you know it, and you're like, you know what? I want
not the food.
Not the food, because the moment you do, whether you like it or not,
you have to return the favor.
And I saw some young men make grave mistakes. Some of the men that I was with in church,
I actually know some of them.
Couldn't go far.
Yeah.
Because they ended up,
settling for...
Yes. And then all of a sudden they realized it was a mistake.
It's never going to work.
Married for the wrong reasons.
And they realize after having children.
So many ministers, as we speak,
have broken
marriages for the wrong reasons. And guess who's suffering? It's that innocent girl. It's that innocent young man.
Wow. So the genesis is very important.
Very, very important.
We cannot treat the symptoms without knowing where the problem is actually coming from. And I like the fact that, yes, we are going to talk about the symptoms and why people generally feel unappreciated, or the signs that, because sometimes people don't know, because even that girl that was taken, like, for example, she had the job and she was chosen by the pastor. at some point she starts feeling unappreciated, because now the pastor's eyes have been opened that, you know what, I'm not willing to commit to her, I don't love her, but I have no way of telling her, so I'm going to act in ways that send the signals.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love someone, like, it's so effortless, you will not even put a thought into it, you will always behave in an appreciative way.
Yeah.
Because then you're not going to consult with them.
Yeah.
There will be like a doormat in your house.
Push them
Actually,
away.
at the slightest, there are those who control themselves and they don't say go away, but you realize this one is saying leave my home.
Yeah.
So you're actually staying against his will.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think people are lying or they're saying it because of anger, but they actually sat down and thought about it and they're like, I just wish, and some of them are actually praying for it. I wish this woman just gets tired one day and just walks away.
Yeah.
And never comes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will, at
How
least
sad.
I will have a reason to give to the church or
How
to the
sad,
people,
yeah.
and just tell them that, she's the one who left.
Yeah,
So
how
now
sad.
they are pushing you out the door with their behaviors.
Yeah. How sad.
They are not men enough to say it,
Yeah.
that I don't love you
No,
and I don't have a future with you.
It comes with the heavy consequences. That's why they can't. That's why they can't. As I said, the genesis, you married for the wrong reasons and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Now you've gotten somewhere and you feel now
You need better.
you need better. So you're trying to send away this young girl,
Yeah.
but you know it. If you don't do it the right way, you must lose the church or the source of the funds that you have right now. Because image to us ministers is key.
Yeah.
Your image out there speaks volumes.
So you
The
want to
moment you play
protect
around
your
with
image.
it, yeah, exactly, it's possible that you can lose.
The false image.
So, thing here is, he will try to do anything and everything. And by the way, most of them will pretend when you're out there, will pretend when they're with your family. They will
course.
pretend when they're with you. As in out
They will
there,
show a different picture.
Out there, they will paint a totally different picture. And you will suffer alone and silently in the house. Because then his real colors come alive. When he
Wow.
looks at you, he's like, this
I'm
baggage,
disgusted.
this burden. How
And
do I
that
get
alone
rid of
is
it?
enough to break you, to cause you to cry yourself to sleep every
Every
day.
day, yeah.
Besides someone who does not care at all, even an ounce of care. Actually, you even they feel like they're disgusted. They would rather sleep in a hotel than sleeping at home. So you have nowhere that, or let me raise my issue. So actually, it would even be wrong for us to tell you, start a conversation with them. They're disgusted.
They are.
They're not willing to hear anything.
Anything,
Even
yeah.
if anyone brings up your name, they're like, you know what, that is useless. Don't even tell me. They're not going to listen to anyone. I know that those are deep-seated issues, and I know that those some of you, this conversation is triggering. It's actually a trigger to your emotional torture, the tortures that you've been going through and the suffering. Bear with us, because at the end of this, or in the next half, we're going to be talking about how to go about that and the signs that you're feeling, so that we can give you language for what you feel that you can't put in words, and how to be able to actually go about it. So don't go away.